Hello, I'm Elgato, and welcome back to the Minecraft update video. Today I have some pretty exciting news to share with you all, because in the past week, two brand new snapshot or beta updates released for Minecraft Java Edition. There's 18W47A and 18W47B, because they're the first and second snapshots released in the 47th week of 2018. But the reason these updates are so exciting is because one included a brand new structure for Minecraft. That's right, the Pillager Outpost has been added. It comes in a bunch of different biomes, and it's a pretty interesting thing by itself. It's a new source of loot. It's a new thing that exists in the world. But then we had a second update that kind of complements it, because there is now also a boss event that can be triggered. It's kind of like an event crossover boss. It looks really exciting, and in today's video, we'll be talking about both those things, as well as everything else that's happened in the Minecraft news in this past week, and I hope you all do enjoy this video. I know it's a little bit later than I otherwise would have preferred. I usually try and do the videos every Wednesday when a snapshot comes out, but literally my laptop was stolen. I'm very sorry about that, but if you do all enjoy the video regardless, I'd appreciate a like. But let's dive straight into the actual news rather than the boring stories. But let's start by talking about exactly what the deal with these Pillager Outposts are. So yeah, if you've heard there's a brand new structure, you've heard it's filled with pillagers, you might be curious as to like, what are the spawn conditions of it? Because when you look at one of them, it's like, okay, this thing's fairly standard, but it's actually kind of not. So there is one consistent thing, a few consistent things that do kind of stay true across the multiple places it can spawn though. One is the fact that it will always spawn somewhat near a village. So the Pillager Outposts are meant to be the places where all the pillagers go to regroup. It will spawn pillagers on a fairly decent basis, and the reason for that is because they're always set up near villages. They're kind of, again, outposts, places where they can get ready to, say, raid a village. So just over there, you can see there's a spruce village, and just, just over 100 blocks outside of it, you'll find yourself one of these Pillager Outposts. These are a common sight in every type of biome. You can find a village, you can find the corresponding Pillager Outpost. So yeah, that means there is multiple types of these things, and there will be brand new types when jungle villagers eventually come, so keep that in mind for the future. That's an exciting thing I'm looking forward to. But yeah, the main structure itself looks the same in pretty much every biome it spawns in, but one of the things that can vary from time to time is one, what what things spawn nearby it. So as you can see, just over here, we've got this kind of little hut. It's a really nice looking hut with some pumpkins. It's spawned a little bit weirdly because all of the posts, or some of them, are on the ground, but the rest is floating. But it's meant to be like a villager encampment. It's where they store their pumpkin supplies because they need pumpkins to raid the village. Let's not question that. And then the other thing you can find, it's exciting because sometimes it contains something, is a cage. So you can find a cage on the side of it sometimes. In this case, the cage doesn't contain anything, but they can contain iron golems. It's a natural way for iron golems to spawn, and it's much more common than the village alternative, which is super, super rare. So yeah, that's super exciting. They can also contain just like little scarecrows, basically. But besides that, they're all the same on the inside. The outsides can have different extra structures, but the inside is always going to be exactly the same. It's the same four-story building, my bad, with the fourth story containing the wonderful, wonderful chest. So first of all, let's kill the pillager who's chasing me, because he's not going to stop just because I've stopped. But basically, yeah, this structure is really kind of interesting because of the fact that it can, it's pretty much the same, but also kind of different. And it also takes advantage of some of the new blocks, such as mossy cobblestone stairs. You'll see a bunch of different things across the place, and it's just an exciting new use of the jigsaw block from last week. This is its proper use in Minecraft. So now we've got that out of the way, let's talk about the fact that in this loot chest, you'll find some pretty standard, Minecraft structure loot. Like, it's not anything too amazing. If you want to find the best stuff in Minecraft, you'll still go to other structures. However, you can sometimes find stuff like dark oak logs, or food, or string, or even crossbow enchantments. Again, it's just regular enchanted books, but you can find enchantments for a crossbow here, which is great. So let's say you kill your pillagers because you want a crossbow, and this is one of the easier ways to get one, and then you're like, this crossbow is nice, well, I want to hit 5 villagers at once. Boom, you found piercing in there, and that's just a nice little part of this, in my opinion. But they can also be found in the plains, as you can see. Exactly the same structure, exactly the same makeup, exactly the same everything else on the inside, but this time we've got ourselves some little scarecrow figures where they test their crossbow aim, I guess. Also, they're aiming at me, even though I'm in creative. But you can see, again, there's a basic structure, there's a simple, way that they're made, and then they've got some surrounding structures that are the same, and they're always a similar distance from a village. There's always a village just nearby that they're not close enough to that they'll accidentally walk into, but they are close enough that they're going to menace the villagers' hearts and minds. Again, if you're a villager in this village over here, you can see at all times, and it's worth also noting that not every village does have an outpost. Every outpost usually has a village, but not every village has an outpost. It's a one-to-many relationship, if you will, or a many-to-one, one-to-one, but yeah, whatever. You get the point. I was trying to make some weird database joke that went a bit badly there, but you can still see the point here, that it is a interesting kind of thing right there. So there are also Savannah Outposts, and there's also desert outposts. So I'm sure showing you each biome one by one, you're kind of getting the point that like, yeah, they sure are the same, Toy Cat. What you said is roughly what's correct here, and they'll all kind of fit to the terrain that they're spawning in. And yeah, as you can see, here's some pillagers. They're just about close enough to get to the villagers. However, right now there's either a bug or an intentional feature that they do despawn when they get to the edges. So even though in this case, because the village well is all the way over here, you know, there's a distance between them, but sometimes they're walking over. In this case, they're not allowed to get there. We don't know if that's going to be changed. Again, this is a snapshot or beta update. Things will change between this and the final launch. However, something that I think will change, but I think is crazy exciting in its current form, is the fact that if you find one of these, you know, pillagers with a banner above their head and you kill them, you'll get something called the Bad Omen Effect. So for now, you know, rather than killing all the pillagers around here, because they will just respawn over and over again, we could try and do it that way. Instead, what we'll do is we'll just give ourselves the Bad Omen Effect. You just have to trust that, like, you know, let's pretend we killed one of their big bad leaders. So we killed one of the big bad leaders off the Pillager Outposts. We showed them who's boss. What you'll actually get is you'll get something called the Bad Omen Effect. So once you enter a village with the Bad Omen Effect, and it can be any village, even one not near the Pillager Outpost, again, even though there is a Pillager Outpost for, you know, like every Pillager Outpost has a village attached to it, you don't have to go to the, you know, corresponding Villager Outpost, or village for the Pillager Outpost. Instead, you go to any village, and then a few seconds later, a raid will start. The villagers know what's up here. Again, eventually I'm assuming they'll ring bells or something, but the villagers know, okay, we're getting inside. People are coming to raid our village, and then suddenly what's going to happen is you're going to see some, you know, some monsters start to spawn. Or to be more precise, they're illagers, not monsters. A whole category of mobs, including the, you know, the Vindicators, the Evokers, and of course the pillagers are going to start raiding the village, and it's your job to kill them all. If you can find them, that is. Oh, here they are. For some reason, they all spawned in like a corner of the village. Again, villages are big places. So bear in mind, it's a tricky thing. I'm just doing this in creative to a point. But the bar represents the number of villagers that have spawned. And then once you kill most of them, it goes down to a mob's remaining count. And just like this, we're going to easily kill the 4 villagers that did spawn. Again, this was a pretty easy one, but they can be a lot more. They can be a lot less. It's a random amount of fairly hard to kill guys. You know, these guys have crossbows. The other guys have axes. They're both quite powerful. And once you've killed them, something interesting happens. Or rather, in this case, it doesn't. But in a lot of cases, what will happen is the last mob that will spawn will be an evoker, and it gives you an opportunity to get Totem of Undying. So this is going to be a new renewable way to get evokers, and from this point onwards, we're going to have to speculate a little bit. So let's just keep that in mind as we go forwards. Because the thing is, right now, villager raids don't have too much for use. They don't have too much diversity to them. There's not really any point to doing them. They don't even fit thematically of the game. Like, you kill the pillager leader, so for some reason he raids you in your village. Like, it's kind of like a revenge system, but also revenge on the village you're in, rather than direct revenge, although they do attack you, but like, you know, it's a bit of a weird system. It doesn't make too much sense. I think this is going to be an exciting way to, again, make the pillage and village concept come together. I think we're seeing a very early form right now, but I think what we will see in the future is, 1, the Illusioner. It would make sense that comes back in some form. 2, this is going to be have some real reward when you do it. It has a boss battle HP bar, but unlike the Wither or like the Ender Dragon, where there's serious rewards for killing them, there's not really any big benefit besides, like, I guess you get XP each time. You get sometimes emeralds, like you can see right here. We got a whole emerald from that. You get crossbows sometimes, but there's nothing too compelling besides the Totems of Undying you can sometimes get at the end of each raid. So there's going to be some greater reward, but right now, you know, you'd be lying if you said you knew exactly what it was, because right now we just know there's going to be a raid system. This combines the 2 parts of the update, the pillage and the village. And I'm excited to see how it does go. Again, I think there's going to be a lot more things we'll see on this in the future, but for now, I'm pretty darn pumped. So yeah, that is the raid system. It's pretty exciting, and it comes as part of the Pillager Outpost. It's worth noting, just on the kind of end thing here, because as you all do know, I like seeds. It's a fascinating thing to me. So the Pillager Outposts, I think they're not going to be rare. I think you won't need a specific Pillager Outpost seed. You'll be able to find them on any given seed pretty easily if you just find new villagers. Again, I found a couple without too much searching involved, and you can always use the /locate command if you're in creative or whatever. So, because again, if you want to find one, say locate, you can actually search the Pillager Outpost. So just fun fact you might not realize about them, as you can locate them and you can also find them pretty easily. They're not too rare, and that's exciting that there's now going to be a structure that has like a villager event tied to it. And also the Bad Omen Effect, I assume there's going to be some more detail of that, because there is something you might not know, is you can use the Bad Omen Effect on multiple levels. You can get Bad Omen level 5, which I just did right there, which makes a super raid on the village, and But yeah, the fact that this has different levels to it, which do have different effects in Minecraft, whether intentionally or not, to me makes me think like maybe you can stack the bonus, or maybe it'll just be like, oh yeah, if you kill a super hardcore dude, he's gonna launch a much heavier raid in the village. So we did level 1 last time, we got 4 dudes coming to attack. How many people will we get for a level 5 raid? As you can see, it's significantly more already, and they're still spawning over there. They're coming from around the mountain, which I think is a clever way to do it. But you can see already there's significantly more guys, and if we kill one, just to show how little the bar goes down in comparison. So, as you can see, there's now, what is it, at least 9 pillagers compared to before, and the higher you set the level, the more pillagers that are going to come. Again, that's based on some preliminary testing so far, but it means that, yeah, there's going to be some deep system here, but right now we've kind of just seen the surface of it. And speaking of things we've just seen the surface of, let's talk about the new Savannah village. So this is the old Savannah village. As you can see, pretty darn bad. I'm going to show you that image of it's Toycat looking at the new villages and liking them more than his current villages image meme again. But no, basically the new villages look pretty great, but I just wanted to quickly point out in the image from before, there's a couple of things that were found by astute Twitter users, and I wanted to add those to it. So I also want, first one mention, there was a dock in that image, so there's docks as well in Minecraft, and there's also, interestingly enough, again according to Twitter, blast furnaces found inside the villages, and also there's new beds, an orange bed for the Savannah biome, and presumably each biome's going to have its own type of beds, potentially found in the villages. So finding a village is going to be more useful, not only because there's barrels, which maybe is going to have something to do with brewing, not only because of all the other things that are to do with that, but also, like villages are getting more useful in every single way of the bells, etc. But also they'll have beds built in them by default, at least in this one type of village we've seen right there, which is pretty darn cool in my opinion. So yeah, that's the update on the villages. Again, I had to make that video very quickly, and we got most of the main points, but I wanted to add to that in case you're like, I want a comprehensive guide to the new villages. I'm excited for the new villages so much. I can't wait to see another one or to play around with the new village designs if they come out next week. But for now, that's kind of that. And before we leave today, we do have another part of the snapshot, because a key part of this update was also a brand new texture update for Minecraft. So they didn't update too much in this past week, but they have changed a few more blocks that are pretty key to Minecraft, so it has to be mentioned. So again, if you don't know, Minecraft's textures are changing with the 1.14 update, and every week they're slowly updating textures based on community feedback, but also just going slowly through the back catalogue of blocks and changing them slowly bit by bit. And this week we got a brand new diamond block. Again, it's slightly better than before. A brand new gold block. Again, it's slightly better than it was before, in my opinion. I'm honestly, a part of me still prefers the old ones, but it's like, okay, we're going to accept progress in both these cases, because they look more like a diamond block should, but it doesn't look like the diamond block in my head does, and a part of me doesn't like that. Glowstone has been improved again, another one of these massive changes, and then also we've got another set of wood textures. I like these ones personally. Like, I really think these are significant improvements over the old textures, and just in case you want to, look at these and be like, man, that is quite the thing, it is brand new textures. Everything around here, it's all brand new textures in Minecraft. It's changing in 1.14, and I know a part of you is going to be like, oh, but I like the current textures. I mean, it's a thing that's happening, like progress or whatever. Progress for progress' sake isn't a good idea, but I think there's a lot of good that can come from this too, because a lot of textures in Minecraft were made by, it's called programmers art for a reason. They were made by programmers, not necessarily for the highest intensity purposes, and that's something to keep in mind. Also, just another update, they've also changed the outside of the stone, the stone cutter. Instead of using gold, it now uses wood, which maybe gives us a clue about its recipe, because before it was made from gold and stone, now it's wood and stone, so this will probably involve some wood in the recipe, one would imagine. And also, as you can see, this tool right here has changed a little bit as well. So yeah, brand new textures, they're kind of exciting. I hope you did all enjoy this video, going over all the news, at least from the past few days while I was gone. If you did all like it, you can like it, let me know, because it helps out the channel and lets know you do like this kind of weekly snapshot plus the news from the week video. Again, like a big roundup all in one place. If you did all enjoy it, then that's a good way to let me know. Again, I'm not saying like the video because there's some weird incentive. Again, as far as I'm aware on YouTube, there is no incentive for liking the video. It's just at this point, it seems like the thing you can say. It's like you can show me you liked it. I see the number. I'm like, oh, 16 people liked the video. Wow, that's great. So can we get 16 likes on this video? Make it happen. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.